Hello, I'm Sam Duncan at the UCL Institute of Education, and my specialism is adult literacy studies. In England, the word we'd use to describe someone who is literate is the word literate, and we would usually understand that to mean someone who can read and write. The term illiterate for someone who can't read or write is used, but very rarely, I suppose rarely in policy and practice circles, because it has such negative connotations and it tends to suggest such an absolute, that there's absolutely no reading and writing. For people who, but we do have terms to describe people, what we might imagine a spectrum of literacy needs. So within provision, community or college provision, we talk about adult literacy learners, and that could include people who feel they're just beginning to read and write, who may see themselves as illiterate or as if they cannot read or write at all. And that would include people up to what we call level 2, which is the level at which people finish compulsory schooling. And at level 2, someone would be able to read and write a lot, would be able to read a short novel, would be able to read most things they came across, would be able to write in paragraphs with correct punctuation. So that's quite a spectrum. We also have other terms that are used in policy, in the media, to describe people who have difficulties with their literacy, which might be adults with low literacy skills or adults with basic literacy skills. We also use the term functional literacy, so we might say someone has literacy which is not high enough for them to function in society, where there's a judgment about what it takes to function in society. We would also talk about people who are wanting to develop their literacy. We have specific qualifications for teachers who teach adult literacy in community provision and further education provision, and we usually call those adult literacy tutors or adult literacy teachers, sometimes adult literacy lecturers. We might call those functional English, so there's some use of adult English and functional English, but more often I think we'd still use the term adult literacy tutor for someone who's a specialist in working with adults on their literacy.